stars 100%.
Yeah, the shake was delicious.
Actually, kind of shocked at how good this shake is. It's actually a really good shake. And I like peanut butter. I'm not the world's biggest peanut butter fan, but that's good peanut butter. So I'm good with that.
I guess now would be a bad time to say that I have a peanut butter allergy.
Well,
Lear nips it. It's just, so guys,
we can't give an EpiPen via remote podcasting.
you're turning violet.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. After that cough, that burger tastes. Oh, that tastes bad. Okay. Yeah. So for everybody listening, this was my idea. And this was a terrible idea. This was gross.
I look forward to the future, though, of the raunchy reviews. It was a good start, you know?
Yeah. I'd much rather review like some sort of like sex lubrication flavor or something, because that's just not. Oh, that's.
Was that because you received it raw today, or what?
It's exactly right. It's exactly right. Maybe get me some banana flavor to go with that peanut butter shake. That'd be good. All right, boys. Well, with that, let's go with the next segment. All right, boys. So coming in blind. This is my segment here. I got to be honest with you. I thought about 4 or 5 different things trying to come into today, and I didn't really land on it until this morning when I was taking a shit. So I was sitting there, I was taking a shit. I'm getting ready to wipe my ass, and I thought, who are my favorite WWE wrestlers that I grew up with? So not WCW,
just
but WWE.
Okay.
Just WWE. Now, in all fairness, they can be WWE wrestlers who have been in WCW or AEW or ECW or whatever, but you're a fan of their character in the WWE, WWF era.
I have a question. Does a tag team count, or is it solely one person?
If you don't touch tips, it doesn't
I'm just asking honesty, since it's got to be on the fly. Like, can I choose a tag team as one of my slots?
We could do tag teams. Why not? Fucking A. Let's do it.
Okay. I don't have any tag teams. I was just asking just in case.
All right. Well, fuck you then, and let's go over to Stoned. So Stoned, baby, who are your top WWE wrestlers all time?
All time? Do we do like top 3? Or are we doing top 60?
It's coming in blind.
We do 3 with 57 honorable mentions in order.
Honorable mention number 60, Jimmy Superfly Snook. No.
This is tough.
Number 3, I'm just gonna rope all of his characters into one, and it's Cactus Jack and
Mankind.
Dude Love and Mankind.
Mm-hmm.
I loved all of his shit, especially his hardcore shit, because that was the most fun stuff to watch. I loved him talking as Dude Love, but when he puts on a show as fucking Mankind or Cactus Jack, it was something to fucking behold. Mick Foley always has like a deep place in my heart. Number 2, I would say, would be Stone Cold. It was hard because like it was between him for a split second. There was between him or Randy Orton, but I feel Stone Cold has more of a place on the mantle in the short amount of time that he did everything in, because Randy has had such a prolific career over the last 20 something years, but he's had all that time to hone it in. Stone had he was in the WCW for a little bit as the pretty boy, and then he came in as just a fucking crazy Stone Cold Killer for 6 years, and he fucking held that shit down. Right. I don't think you have the Raw era of the Attitude without him or The Rock, but I felt like I should include him over The Rock. So number 1 is always going to be Edge. Edge was my favorite without realizing he was my favorite. I thought every week I was tuning in when I was a kid for John Cena. No, I was tuning in for Edge. Like everything he did, like made me hate him, made me love him, made me want to have him inside me. It was a weird time when you're a preteen, trying to figure out who you are. It was weird shit.
Rated R Superstar, baby.
Rated R Superstar! You know how it is. Hey, did you get that broom handle out of your ass? I'm sorry! But definitely the Radar Superstar is going to always be my number one. Always. Especially like,
I was always wondering where the grip went on the broom. And now that you said, "Oh my God, take the broom," like, does the grip actually get stuck in there when you stick it in there? Or I mean, we're just talking a generic wooden broom.
no, like what it is now, like it's completely stuck, so my hole's always open. So it's just like a constant shoot of shit coming out. So like if I know it's coming, like I have to find a bathroom fast. Otherwise, just gonna like right in my boxers. I'm like, damn it. Not my underoos. Not again.
I dig that. All right. So, Noam, let's go over to you. Who's your top 3?
Oh, baby. I'm going to go with the New Age Outlaws at number 3 as a tag team. The captivation out of DX in general, but those guys, the second...
Oh, you didn't know?
Exactly. The place just erupted. As far as tag teams all time, they wouldn't be my most favorite tag team of all time, but just the presence, right? And that's where I'm going through with this list. I really like the Mick Foley pick. That was a good pick. Number 2, though, for me is Undertaker. I mean, you can't, in my opinion, for me, I can't have a top 3 of WWE superstars without Undertaker. And the only person that can take the Undertaker off of the top of the list, in my opinion, is just to be so captivating. You become so heel that you're so far bad guy that you're so fucking good, and that's Stone Cold. Stone Cold is hands down number 1 for me. So those are my top 3.
All right, BZ baby, who do you got?
I'm fucked because I've never watched this shit.
Oh
I
man,
never
what?
could
What?
get into it.
What?
Are you serious?
I
I thought you would have been the
never
biggest
could.
fan out of the 3 of us.
No, not at all. I hated it.
4 of
It's
us,
fucking it's
Three
so
and a half.
scripted and fake as shit. And
3.5.
it's like
Wow.
man soap
Okay.
operas. And I was like, nah, it's gay. I'd rather not. I'll play some video games.
Did you ever play?
So-
Did you ever play wrestling video games?
I played it one time
Okay.
because my buddy was hardcore into it. So I was just like, I don't know.
I thought he was
Stone
going to
Cold
say I
looks
played it
dope as
one
shit.
time because my buddy was hard.
Because he was horde.
I found out my friend was gay that day and never had a friend again.
Yep.
Wow.
So I would have to say, now I do know, because I wasn't born in a box, but I do know a lot of the people and some of their shticks, I guess. Stone Cold 100% is number 1, just because I was like, this guy's not that bad. I could watch his intro shit. That was dope. Plus he crushed fucking beers and then chugged them. That was shit beer, but I mean, still cool as fuck. Number 2, I think you have to obviously go with Chris Benoit.
Dude.
Because he brought work home. And
He did.
and then for number 3, just naturally, I'm building my own story. The Undertaker to help Chris Benoit.
Exactly.
Starts off with
Exactly.
beer, introduces domestic violence, and buries it all. I love the order of that.
Yes, and it was carefully selected.
There's nothing gay about killing your kids.
That was
Or your
amazing.
wife.
It's pretty rough.
Wow.
But
All right.
that's
All
my my list.
What about you, B?
I don't know that I can top BZ's list. I think BZ might have all of us beat on the order of that list. But all right, so for me, number 3, I'm gonna go with Undertaker for all the same reasons that you said. I think that the Undertaker is the longest tenured WWE WWF employee who has had the most success within his career at WWF WWE. So for that, I do have to bring him in. I watched a documentary recently that had Bret Hart in it, and I always thought that Bret Hart might be one of my favorite WWF, WWE characters, but that guy's just a bitch. That guy won't stop talking about Goldberg and how Goldberg fucked him up and how his labia hurts and he sprained his puss and all this sort of stuff. And no, Bret Hart can fuck off. I don't like Bret Hart anymore. Then I thought
But
Shawn
didn't
Michaels.
he have one of those like the Bachelor shows on MTV or something where he
I don't think
was
so.
just throwing a bunch of ladies and he had to pick which one he wanted to.
That was
go
Bret
date?
I was
Michaels.
going to say, I think you're thinking of Brett Michaels.
That works.
Wrong,
He was in
Brett.
Lonesome Dove, though.
Yeah.
Bret
over
Hart was
there.
in Lonesome Dove.
He wasn't born in a
Not
box,
that
but he
that
sure
matters.
was born in the barn.
Both shitty in their own right. One a shitty wrestler, the other one a shitty musician. Both Bretts,
Fair
both
enough.
shitty. Yeah, you got it. You covered
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, both get topless blonde women with teased hair. It's totally fine. So my number 2, I was thinking about Shawn Michaels, and I thought, he was pretty good. But again, Shawn Michaels really wasn't like, although he was great in the ring, he wasn't that great in the ring. So as shitty as I'm going to say that this pick is, because it's not like I'm not the biggest fan of him. For success in the ring, I have to go with The Rock, and then my number 1 wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin, for everything that was already said. When he said hell yeah and threw up the fucking birds and drank the beer and everything like that, I was mesmerized. And I was like, that's who I want to be when I grow up. And I decided that I would just eat random hamburgers and not exercise. And so that never happened. So that being said, that kind of entered that into the negatory category. But
So, pardon my ignorance. So, where would Hogan and all them old timers, where do those fall into that category? Are they in either of those?
dude, it was really hard to exclude Hulkamania on my end. I'm not going to lie, just because that's how I became a fan of wrestling. But I don't see him as a WWF character other than his early years. Everything else has been outside of that.
Right. And I think the problem with Hulk, in my opinion, if I was building a top 10, he might scratch the surface of a top 10.
Yeah.
But because of his presence. Now, The Undertaker, his presence, because The Undertaker also, same thing. He wasn't the greatest wrestler because he's a big guy. Hulk was a terrible fucking wrestler. He basically had 3 fucking moves, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was all about his all-American presence, and then in the NWO, that whole thing. But
I got to cut you off real quick. He was scripted three moves.
it's true. He was scripted. He was a terrible scripted wrestler. Okay. But you see guys that get in the ring and they can really, really actually wrestle, scripted or not. Like they have a lot of finesse. They have a lot of athletic talent. Hulk was not that at all. He was athletically built, but he was not athletically talented at all. And so to me, it wouldn't even be a question. Like I said, he might scratch a top 10 list for me, but nowhere near a top 5.
Athletically talented would have to be a whole separate list, and I don't know if anyone that we chose would be on that list, honestly.
Not that I chose. I think Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels very well could be on that list for athletically talented.
Shawn Michaels for sure, yes, for sure.
Owen Hart was pretty good falling down once, but I don't know where that all would have landed, But that being said, I think Hulk Hogan he's a mainstay in society. He's a mainstay in pop culture. And I think that he got too big for wrestling, to be candid with you. And I think that that's kind of where The Rock is now. He's too big for wrestling. And that's why I hesitated to put him on my list. The reason why I segregated and said WWE or WWF specifically is because my favorite wrestler is Sting. And I think that Sting is the wrestler that goes through, doesn't matter which organization it's with. I love Sting, but that's why I wanted to segregate it a little bit. But I think Hulk Hogan was good for the time period he was in there. He was saying take your vitamins while he was shooting steroids, and I like that about him. But for me, that's why he's off the list. I just don't. I mean,
real fast off the cuff, B word. Who would be your other 2 in a top 3 from WCW? I'm just curious because I was also a very big WCW guy.
Yeah, great question. Honestly, and I know that Beezy said it as a joke, but Chris Benoit when he was in WCW was phenomenal. If we're just measuring the work, like if we're not talking about at home, he was good. I think Eddie Guerrero might be the pick though. I think if you went, Eddie Guerrero, Sting, and let's go with Rey Mysterio, because Rey Mysterio was also WCW before he was WWE.
That's a good one.
So I'd go with those guys first.
I like it.
And probably say those 3. What about you?
Eddie Guerrero would be in my top 3 as well. Sting would be number 1. Probably personality wise, just because he's the bad guy, Scott Hall. And he was both. He was WWF, WCW, but coming out like you own the fucking world with a toothpick and AO. Yeah. Just personality wise, he's in my top 3. So
AJ, you got a top 3 for WCW?
Same. It was like Sting, Eddie Guerrero, and Scott Hall. Yeah, always.
I'm gonna go with Yokozuna, Triple H, and
All WWF.
fucking what's his face? You can't see me.
John Cena. The one
John
that I didn't
Cena.
mention